to be fair.
Well, I mean,
I love your choice, but you are going to have to deal with the consequences of such.
It's a good choice.
Oh, absolutely.
It's delightful.
And Felix had character. I mean, he's like, hey, look at the boxes. Oh, hi. Welcome back, all, to part 3 of Scum and Villainy Stardancer, episode 6. That's a mouthful.
That's a long title.
So, here's the thing. On a 4 to 5, you do it, but there's a consequence. And the consequence is as follows. So Loren pulls off his mask and says, I am, was it Gred? Captain of the Queen Anne's Revenge. So what you were going for is to convince them that you are this person. You succeed. However, this is the situation you end up in is one of you hear one of the pirates basically says like, so this ain't no pirate vessel, it's our booty. I had to get at least one pirate joke in. I apologize to everyone. Go on.
Judged.
Sorry. Lauren replies to that simply by saying, and we need to leave immediately. The ship that we just came from is going to explode. So whatever is going to happen, but not here. So
you see like one of the pirates stand up, and he's obviously got like war spikes on his shoulder pads and an eye patch with an obvious claw that some crazy space creature landed on him. And he looks like extra tough, and he's got like he like points at you with his crazy shotgun filled with whatever it's filled with. And he says like, yeah, then let's get out of here. All of you put down your weapons and get in our goddamn brig, and we'll rip out of here just fine.
Lauren is like, we're taking this ship. You can come with, but for now, this is not a discussion. Grabs Boz, goes towards the captain's area where you steer the ship from. What's that called?
Your command is not good enough for that. You're going to either have to command again, or you're just going to get shot because he's trying to make a point.
Well,
question, because the effect, the intended effect was to get them off the ship. Is the consequence reduced effect?
No. That was not possible, right? Like, you've got pirates that have a quarter of your ship locked down and they're grappled onto your ship. Simply telling them to get off is not going to function off a command roll.
Sure. So what was the effect of that desperate action originally? Was it zero effect? Was it limited effect?
It was limited. Cool. And basically what it does is it convinces them that you are a pirate captain of the Queen Anne's Revenge. This causes them to pause, gives you an opening and an in, and otherwise allows them to be receptive to some words. But they also have a captain, and their ship is currently grappled onto yours, and there's absolutely zero reason for them to just listen to you and take orders. So you're going to have to convince them somewhat more, or somehow change the scenario. But they're not just going to, like, they're going to give you all the accordances of a pirate captain, which means that they're not going to, like, arbitrarily murder you, but
unlike everyone else.
Arbitrary murder. Yeah.
Well, like,
okay, all right.
Is
so
in the way from gaining their booty, right? So, but they're not going to shoot you unless you do something to either piss them off or whatever. But they've given an order, and you're basically disregarding it. So, what do you do?
So, here's what I'll say. Yeah. So, I know who Gred is because I've done some undercover investigative journalism.
Nice.
With pirates.
Oh, okay.
And so
very secret.
I am going to try. Well, I know some things about Drexler from this time that I did this. And so I'm going to claim that Drexler is a friend of mine and that he owes me a favor. And so I'm going to consort here.
All right, that's I feel like you can do a thing, but consorting is about gaining access to people or things using your background for the most part. Like that's and it's also kind of like the skill where you can get, like, be chummy with people on a kind of superficial level. Like, hey, how's the wife and kids? Like that's also kind of consorting.
Mhm.
So if you want to flashback and say, I know some true facts about Drexler, like he's not just a mythical figure that the news occasionally talks about, and I did some investigative journalism. If you want superficial details, it's going to be 0 stress. If you want some harder details, like facts that aren't known generally to the public that might be about his actual pirate life, that's probably going to be 1 stress. Because you were an investigative journalist, but this is not information that's publicly available. And you could use that as a basis for something. But consorting, if you consort, you might be able to gain access to their captain, but you're not going to get them to like obey you. Consort is not usually like that. Like you're describing. I mean, you can say words, but what are you trying to get them to do?
I mean, I want them to respect me enough to say, we will deal with this later. Basically, that immediately what we need to do is get out of here, and that they will think of me as a person who has enough clout that they're not just going to shoot me. And they'll be like, okay, like, fine, we'll get out of here. We'll take this ship, but we're going to talk about this. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Like, I'm mostly just trying to get us away with the ship.
So essentially what you're trying to do is basically just remove yourself from being attached to an imploding ship, and then have this discussion out in the nebula maybe like 10 minutes from now. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
All right, cool.
I'm just trying to get us out of immediate harm's way.
Now, I'm going to give you some fairly obvious stakes here, which is they're probably like their ship is grappled onto yours.
Mhm.
So the thing is that the two of you will probably the two of you will probably leave, but you'll probably leave like either side by side or like one right behind the other, or one of them being towed by the other.
Yeah.
Just so you understand like what the rough outcome is going to be. Like they're not just going to be like,
That's
we're all just gonna hop on
yeah.
the ship.
We'll meet up at the bar next week.
All right, cool. So go ahead and roll your consort. That's fine. So which is basically what you're saying is like, you don't understand who you're talking to. I know this person, this person, and this person. They're all your bosses. And if you fuck with me, you'll answer to them.
Yeah. And we are getting out of here with both ships.
Sure.
All right.
Fuck. Not good.
It's all right.
So
It's good.
no. That's not gonna work. So you're gonna let me take a look again. This is probably gonna be, you're gonna lose this opportunity for definite. You don't suffer harm, but you're gonna end up in a desperate situation, and you're gonna lose this particular like tack, right? So like, I know all these people, and like, you're gonna be in trouble if you don't listen to me. And one of them says like, like basically like all the pirates pause for a second, and they kind of look to like the dude with the scars and the eye patch and the like grizzly, the big bushy beard, who glares at you and basically says, but if we shoot you and leave you here, none of them's gonna give us 1 ounce of trouble.
Nice.
They'll never know.
Okay, so
Do we
Here's what
smash
here's-
cut to locked up
well,
in Brig?
no.
Right.
I have one last tactic,
One more
One
sleeve.
last card.
One
Yes.
more.
Last card.
Yes.
which
So at
is
this point, you're in a desperate situation, which means the outcome after this is giant pirate bloodbath here. So like, what is your last card here?
my last card is that I have on me a luxury item. And so I say, that may be true, but if you do that, you'll never know where the rest of these come from. And I hold up this like glowing, beautiful bottle of some sort of exquisite liquid that is a liqueur, I think, that is super rare, super expensive, and indicative.
Would you like it to perhaps be a favorite of Drexler, maybe?
Yes, I would.
Okay, that sounds great. So you toss the thing at him. You're like, yes, but if you shoot me, you're never going to find out what the rest of these are stashed. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
All All right, cool. You're describing something. I mean, it could be a sway. Because it sounds like you're lying to him.
Yeah.
That's also sway is also force of personality, and this is desperate. So you failed this. We are going to smash cut to a brig, and we're going to play an escape scene because that's very classic in space opera, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Locks, get out, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not I'm not sure we can escape, but yeah.
You know what? Toss them bones. See
Here
what
we
happens.
go.
Nope. Cool. So, I think that he looks at the thing and he looks at you and he goes, or actually he looks at it, he looks at you, he looks at it, he looks at you and goes, or we could just rip your ship apart panel by panel till we find it. And then we smash cut and we see like the pirate ship pulling your ship with them. So clearly the Stardancer's coming with them and it hasn't been destroyed. And we see the giant ship folding in on an implosion. We see a couple of the drones skittering up and like leaping at the ship. And we see some of the like pirate weapons firing and like swatting them off. And we see the pirate ship dragging you into the fiery nebula. And then it feels like if we were watching a TV show, we see like all of you in chains, being led by pirates. And like if somebody gets mouthy, they're like one of the pirates slaps them because like that's very classic, right? And then we see like the captain of the pirate ship standing there, and it's this like woman with like white hair pulled back in like a huge braid, and she's got like two like friggin' Varaxian razor beast heads on her shoulders or something. And she's looking like epic and like badass as hell, like staring at all of you in the brig. And one of them says like, usually we space him, but that one says he's a captain. And she goes, captain, huh? And then and then like she leans in and she goes, I happen to know Captain Gred. And it's gonna like then credits will roll and it'll be the next episode, right? Like of the TV series. And it's gonna basically be like
no.
So good.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So this is what happens from desperate rolls.
So good.
I feel like some time will pass. This will be like 3 or 4 days later or something like that, right? And we'll notice that a couple of the people like are missing, and we'll see the ship is like exiting the nebula or like the stellar flames on the other side, with the Stardancer still in tow. Like we'll see like a camera going through the Stardancer. We'll see that like some of your rooms have been like picked clean and some of your stuff is taken. And we'll see like one of the pirates is using one of Boss's guns and like shooting them at stuff, and they're all like laughing. And then we'll see like the cargo bay still has all of the plant matter in it, but all of the doors are closed with giant like pirate logos painted on them because Burden is like throwing himself against the doors, and they're just like, don't deal with the thing. So like. Yeah, I think, and then we go to the pirate ship, and all of you are in the prison, right? And there's a general like air of prisoners, even though we might see some like gazes or something happening. And you realize that what they've done is they've turned Bar Hazook into an Urbot who's delivering your food because they think that he's just an Urbot. So I'm going to leave that right there on the table and ask you what your awesome escape plan is and make an engagement roll, because this is basically like the get away from the pirate ship.
Right.
So I'm going to say that Boz and Loren.
Yeah.
So traditionally, you're supposed to come back at the beginning of the downtime. But I feel like some time has passed, like this particular tension has passed. It's been 6 days. Your stress goes to 0. And you're not going to need advice at the beginning of the downtime. But I feel like this is a new scene, a new day, a new job. So folks will be active again as characters. Does that sound good to everyone playing?
Yeah.
That makes good sense.
All right, cool. So let me ask you, what is your plan to escape?
I feel like Bar Hazook is definitely involved in some way. Because they haven't wiped him right? They just thought that he was a servant Urbot, and he was like smart enough to go along with that, right?
Well, yes, I can prepare salads in 14 different systems.
Great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a matter of him smuggling us things that we can use to pick our way out. And
all right, so it feels like Barhazuk may be an ally that helps you, which is one of the questions in creating an engagement pool. What type of job is this? Are you going to is he going to smuggle you maybe something that you're going to be able to rig into blowing a door open? Is he going to, which is an assault plan, are you going to fight your way to your ship and get off?
I have an idea. Could we get him to poison the pirates, or like somehow, if he's also serving them, perhaps maybe he's made himself very useful to them and convinces them to have a night of merriment and drugs them in a way, as well as having snuck us like files or keys or whatever, something that we could get out of our cell in a low profile way.
So he's helping with cooking, but clearly the pirates had a cook. So Barhazuk doesn't know that much about human physiology, so somebody's going to have to tell him where to find that stuff and how to put it in such that it's
I know that shit. That is definitely something I know how to do. Yes.
All right. So this sounds like a deception plan, where your method of deception is.
I mean, does that sound good to you guys, Andy and Sean?
Yeah, get the crew drunk or sedated or otherwise not on their best, and then we pick the locks and sneak out. I like it. Sounds great.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's roll an engagement roll, and that'll determine how effective the drugs are, how many people they. So I just have to ask Loren, which drugs are you telling Barhazuk to go and fetch off the ship? Is it Faye's stash?
I was just gonna say, Faye is. I think I mean, we're back. The conflict's over. You said we're shaken. We're messed up. We've been permanently damaged by this stuff. But Faye is present, and I think when you're talking about it, Faye's like, well, I happen to know a pretty powerful sedative and hallucinogen.
Yeah.
So good. Everyone's coming right, like laying it out.
No problem.
So and what I think also, so Faye overhears Lauren talking to Barhazuk about this, and Lauren is like, well, I know that I have some drugs, but like none of them do exactly what I would want them to do, and I would need
stash knockout.
I would need
pirates drugs on your boat.
I would need to combine them with this specific drug, which happens to be Faye's drug, in order for it to really work. And that's when Faye chimes in and says, well.
Yeah, and I'm forgetting the name of it. It is, it's a Aketi emerald. Is this green substance that you can take in various forms. Faye smokes it. And she says with much... she thinks that she's been really cool about no one knowing that she was high. Because the one time that she was high in your presence, she was like so freaked out by David that she wasn't thinking straight. And then, of course, she got high and, of course, thought she was a lot more clever than she really was when she was high. So it was a combination of stress plus drugs equaling her thinking that you haven't figured this out. Faye, in a definite moment of weakness, comes out and is like, yeah, no, there's some Aketi Emerald on our ship. Nope, it's not in the med bay. No, it's not in the medical supplies. Yeah, it's in my, it's locked up. It's hidden. The pirates wouldn't have found it because Faye is super paranoid about people knowing she does drugs. So it's like,
it's like in your air vent or something.
Exactly. Yep.
Nice.
Cool. So I think that I feel like now we make the engagement roll because we know the method of engagement. It's a deception plan with spilling drugs into drinks and stuff, and then trying to use the pirates being boozy and not alert to try and pick your way out of this problem, right? So I'm gonna assemble the pool here. I'm sorry, my book is right there, so I'm just gonna go grab it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So good. This is
I
so
don't
good.
remember.
You're a pirate captain.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well,
Lady
the-
Pirate Captain.
All right,
For a
this is on page
day.
127 if I recall, because I've been doing this a lot. All right, so engagement roll. You always get 1 die to start. Then,
Ooh.
is this operation particularly bold or daring? I don't think it's particularly bold or daring unless somebody convinces me that there's some incredibly bold or daring bit.
We'll get to that part later.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
I don't think that there's an inherently boulder daring part of the plan.
To the
Is
contrary,
this operation complex or contingent on many factors? I feel like it might be a little contingent on many factors. It involves like some of your allies sneaking supplies around and using different drugs, and then like getting people to eat and drink them under the noses of like your opponents and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's probably going to be -1d. So it's 0 dice so far. Does the
Woohoo!
plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest?
Hedonist.
I feel like there could be some argument that pirates like to drink,
Yeah.
particularly after getting
Yeah.
some booty. And
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, if they're in a celebratory mood, drinking and imbibing of lesser grade alcohol and things like that might be what they're inclined to do anyway. So getting them a little higher may not inherently appear any more initially than just they've had one too many.
all right, cool. Can your friends or contacts provide aid or insight on this for this operation? I feel like
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Substantively.
it's totally happening. And then, are there any other elements? Maybe a lower tier target would give you +1d. A higher tier target will give you -1d. So usually those are considerations when you're trying to assault a place, or it's a question of security, or it's a question of overcoming someone's gear.
Right.
And I feel like their
Resources.
stomachs aren't tier 3.
Right.
Their metabolism isn't quite there.
Yeah, I feel like you're attacking them in a way that their tier differential won't make a difference. If you were assaulting them or trying to blow through locks or overcome their security or something, then we would talk about tier difference.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this is totally
Thanks. Yeah.
The jury gets an XP for desperate actions.
Killing it.
I get a new
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Cool. So that's I feel like you folks have a 3-die engagement roll here. Who wants to toss them bones for us?
I've been lucky all night, so sort of.
I've been very not. So
Let me phrase it this way: I'm happy to be the one that
Jory.
gives us the horrible roll that it's all in trouble.
Jory.
Jory.
what?
Yep.
What?
Do it.
I
I
think
feel like you should do it.
You want me to do the roll?
You're this,
This is your plan, and
I feel like it's
whole-
your plan. I'm excited about this.
Okay.
Like, if you can absolutely decline. However, I am excited for you to
Yeah.
roll
No,
this.
that's fair.
and there's no
Uh,
bad engagement rolls. If you roll really low, we get XP.
And
Yeah.
where do I roll? How
Just
do
go
I
ahead
start
and
it?
open your go ahead and open your sheet.
Uh-huh.
In the I think it's where's the roll fortune is underneath your influential friends. Just click on it.
Yes, there we go. Roll
The
fortune.
the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write in the notes. So you're just going to
Oh.
say engagement roll, and then you're going to say 3 dice.
Drunk pirate engagement roll.
Drunkerning.
The drunkening.
Wait, is it 3 dice? It's
Drug
start
name.
with 1, lose 1 for complexity, gain 1 for attacking them where they're vulnerable, gain 1 for friend. I'm sorry, it's 2 dice.
Mm,
5.
Woohoo!
You end up
5.
in a risky situation. So I feel like as this plan begins, you see like one of the guards coming in and being like, "Hey, I just had dinner. Why don't you go out or whatever?" And then like you see like one of the guards get woozy, and he starts to like swoop and fall down, and so does the guards that are standing guard at the doors. And you see. So let me describe this. Like, you see like for absolutely no reason other than complete cinematics, pirates have like chains hanging from the ceilings, and there's like weird lighting where they actually use fire on their ship, which is absolutely batshit insane in closed circulated environments. But it's very like it's got kind of like a Klingon-esque air to it, where like
yeah.
it's got like all spiky, and you see like other like the walls are made of different colored panels because they've like fused them together from like other ships and stuff like that, and they're all like
sticking to their aesthetic.
So the brig actually has bars. Like usually it's like got like glass doors and security overrides and like hackable stuff. This is very old fashioned. It's got like a giant clanky metal door. And yeah, it's got like a little like box cage, and then like the lock might actually have some like, you know, bits. But you see Bar Hazook comes in, and you know, he like sets down a tray of food and goes, "Your food, prisoners," and then slides it in, and you see his eye basically do this like, which you realize is his version of a wink. He's doing his best. And then he makes that weird grinding noise deep in his chest. And so sure enough, there's a couple of tools and some like wire cutters and like whatnot in there for you folks to be able to like open the door and get out. But this is what's going to make the situation risky, right? So what you hear is like, you know, you hear like this rumor and this like noise as obviously, you know, they're like, what is going on? You hear like the voice of like the captain. And you hear her like stalking through the corridors towards this room. So you have an incredibly limited amount of time. Obviously, there's going to be opponents here, and that's the scenario as we open up on the scene of this particular job. What are you doing?
What's her name?
That's a good question. Fortunately, I thought ahead at some point, and past Josh is not a jerk, and I have name lists. So these name lists are good.
Yay!
And does she know for certain that I'm not Gred, or does she have issues with Gred?
I think we're gonna say as follows. Her name is Samara Yar, and she is known as she's probably gonna be like amongst the Drexler later. She has some like cool pirate nickname like the She-Wolf or something like that. I don't know. That's
better than Taserface.
Beasts on her shoulders or some nonsense. Does she know that you're not Gred? After your sequence of giantly failed rolls, I'm gonna say no. She knows you're not Gred. Sorry.
Does she believe that I'm a pirate still?
Let's make a fortune roll.
Okay. You're doing a fortune roll, or
yes,
I am.
I'm doing a fortune roll for her. So low is good for you, high is bad. This is how much she knows.
Ah.
Let's see here. No.
The one's good. The one happened first. That one. That one.
Like a.
So can I give you a suggestion?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that she met me when I was undercover and ended up figuring out who I was, or like.
That's even better. She knows exactly who you are. I love it.
Oh, good.
It's not just that you're not a pirate. She's like,
that's that guy from the news who pretended to be a pirate for a while.
Wasn't good at it then, isn't good at it now.
She thinks I'm the worst.
So yeah. So not only
good.
You're not Gred, she knows that you are Loren Hex, or as she calls you, that obnoxious newsboy.
Yes.
nice.
So this is the scenario. You folks are hearing people coming down the hall. They realize that you might be in trouble. You've got these tools in your hand. What are you doing?
We're picking them locks and getting the heck out of Dodge.
Ain't that the truth?
Gotta move fast. You checking timing wise, do you want us to dive into it, or do you want to pause on this first action and then
No, I think we resolve this first action and we maybe cinematically cut to commercials and continue next episode, depending on how the rolls go, because the rolls might be that you're all out with like pipes and a couple of the bars out of position standing around the door as she steps through to like maul her if you roll well enough, or it could be that she like walks in and they draw weapons while you guys are still like halfway done jiggering the locks. So
Let's find out.
Yeah.
What is the picking
So
locks?
what are you doing? What are you doing as an picking locks?
Yeah, is that
that's rig traditional?
That's rig.
And is this a group action?
Not. I mean, one person's picking a lock. It doesn't feel like everyone's picking a lock.
Okay, fair.
Yep. Yeah. So I think Faye is leaning around, like her ear, like her head pressed against the bars, listening in the corridor, and she's like, "Oh shit, she's coming! Move fast!" Like that's helpful.
Is this a like tools get like slapped into Boz's hand and like Boz slides up to the lock?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we open up, rip open the bread bun, and there's a file and other tools inside.
Yeah, your MRE contains mechanics tools. Yeah,
perfect. All right. Yeah, and I think that looks like a really great time for Boz to look real serious and try and focus. So,
Faye, what's your rig?
0.
Okay, mine is 0 as well. Great.
We're good at this.
Shit mechanics, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so risky. I can.
You got all your stress back.
I was gonna say I can just dive right into the stress train again, right?
Yeah, that's what it's there for.
Okay, great. So then I'm gonna push myself. Right. Just let's get this done. And so this is risky. The effect is standard. And then that's an extra die.
Yep.
All right.
Hold on. Are we starting a new score as our gambits have?
Your gambits will reset here.
Yeah. Okay. So we have I think 3 because Stardancer starts with 2 and Scoundrel gives us 3. So yeah. Gives us an extra rather. So if you are inclined, you can grab one of those if you want.
Y'all feel good about that? I mean, like theoretically, like might turn out well.
I think
good about
that.
It. Yep. Sean?
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna spin that. So that's a second bonus die. So 2 bonus dice. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gambit.
Woohoo! The Gambit makes all the difference. You do that crazy on the knees slide. You start clicking things. You're gonna pop the latch open. You're still hearing them come down the hall, but you folks have a second to set up and like file out of the room and everything. So, what's going on here? What does this look like? Are you going to try and jump them? Are you going to try and like get in an air vent and like tell Bar Hazuk to look surprised? Like what is the move?
Yeah, I think. Can I tell how many people are coming down the hall from listening around the corner to footsteps and listening to the she-wolf?
You're going to guess anywhere between 2 and 4. 3 is pretty safe guess there.
Really, there are that many of them who didn't get poisoned?
Well,
that it hasn't come to pass that they're incapacitated at this time, perhaps.
Did I hang on. Yeah. I mean, a ship has roughly like 20 people or so on it. Some of them were asleep. Some of them are the She-Wolf's personal guard. She probably just is able to focus despite it because she's that tough.
Word.
I feel like it would be fun to have scrapping time, like literally scrapping, like grabbing the pan that Barzuk delivered food on and throwing other odds and ends and getting fisticuffy with them. But I'd also be fine with us hiding and relying on Barzuk to say they went that way. And
I mean, so Lauren hasn't rested. Like Lauren still, I'm 1 less than maximum stress. And I think that he's in this situation, has been panicking the whole time. Faye is injured. He's injured. Like he wants to keep a low profile at this point so desperately that he's going to fight for that, which doesn't mean that we can't get into any scrappy things, but he's going to be very wary about it.
Yeah, I think he sees like Faye like pick up something like, all right, here it comes. We're ready to do this.
Yeah, and Boz is on the same page.
It's like,
and he's like,
and
no, you guys don't know pirates. You don't. We need to find somewhere to go. We need to hide. We need to get out of here. Yeah, and I think that he, like, the door is open and there's a vent on the other side of the room, and he's like,
all right, I want to point out something, that we have a move called the getaway.
Yes,
you gain potency when you scramble or helm to avoid capture or run a blockade. When you do a delivery, you take +1d on a job. I think scrambling to avoid capture is exactly what we could do right now if you wanted, which is basically we hightail the heck out of here, and try and ditch before she catches us, before she sees us. If we run out the door right now, are we running right into her field of view, or do we? Is she?
Well, here's the thing: if you run right into her field of view, you may be able to outrun her and make it to your ship in time. That's what the scramble roll will determine. Does somebody get hurt? Does somebody have to get left behind?
Yeah.
How many? Like, what's the outcome there? And it's probably a group scramble.
Yeah. So Faye,
if you choose that, I will leave this choice up to you, because again, the players decide the actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you say is like, we're gonna run out and hide behind a corner, and as she walks by us, she hears Barzik say like, "Oh goodness, help! They've disappeared," or something like that. Then you can run out. That's a group skulk, and that's not the getaway necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them will make it less risky and will give you potency, and you'll be able to like get more effect and stuff. The other one will is a different type of action, but has different consequences, right? Like, so it's up to you as players to tell me which action you want to describe. Like, do you want to skulk out of there? Do you want to climb through vents? Or do you want to just scramble out of there? But scrambling indicates that it's about like running, right?
Yeah. It's running, getting into the Stardancer and blasting out of here before they can catch us, which all seems like a thing we're good at, but also very improbable. We don't know what the state of the Stardancer is. We don't know if there's more of them on the ship. So I think
they're gonna know that we're gone soon enough, one way or the other, though, right? So, like, regardless of the state of the Stardancer.
That's true. That's true.
It's just fictional positioning, right? Like, it's what position do they start from? Do they start looking for you, or do they like? Is there a chase scene? Both are fun, right? Like, because one of them is Luke sneaking onto like where the big thing is and trying to turn off the like tractor beam, and the other one is Han running from stormtroopers. Both are cool scenes. They're just different scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the strong move, even though it's not what we're strong at, is the skulk right now, and the scramble when it invariably fails. Great. So I think like Faye's got the tray, and when Lauren says no, she's like, oh, okay, fine. We saw some vents on the way in. Let's hide behind those until they pass. So I'm happy to lead a skulk so that you're not taking more stress, Lauren.
Great.
And
Boz is not sneaky.
That's okay. It's fine. We will all roll, and Faye will take a bunch of stress, and one of us will succeed.
So I have some unfortunate things to tell you folks.
Oh, good. The news has arrived.
There is a lot of you that are wounded, and unfortunately, sprinting and running generally gives you limited effect. So I was going to say, with the getaway, you could have potentially pushed to like even control because you're that fast and good at running away. But I feel like you're at risky limited effect to start, and the getaway just gives you risky standard.
Okay.
Because
but we're not doing the running thing. We're doing the hiding thing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Your bruises do not affect your capacity to stand still.
Hide. Yeah. Yeah. So I was thinking, I was like, absolutely. Except, yeah.
Sorry. I excellent.
The bruises help us fade into the modeled background of the mini plated, oft repaired layers of the walls.
Exactly. I feel like we fit right in with these parody.
All right, cool. So I think we're going to make this group skulk action, and then
let's do the thing.
Succeed or fail. I think we're going to shift to XP, and we're going to pick up next session with you folks trying to escape and Keep in mind that they're a tier 3 faction, which means that they have slightly better engines. And you can't just outright outrun them, which means that things are going to get interesting.
Well, it's another reason why I think Skulk makes sense right now, because if we can, if some of them besides these folks are high, we might be able to get in and sabotage. We could get in and sabotage their engines before we go. But if we just run, I don't think we have any opportunity to do anything but just. Like I figure running is going to be an inevitability, but skulking
put it off as
other possibilities.
Yes.
With no agenda at all or desire to see anything of this nature. I'm lying. I will point out that you may or may not have a device that can shut off jump drives. I'm just saying, on your ship.
Yeah.
Continue.
I'm liking
just in case all other plans fail. I'm just I'll put it out there just in case you may not have remembered.
But let's start with this thing. Oh, did you said some time passed? Did the other like ship implode, or did it like?
Oh yeah, it imploded in like a super cool, like it actually looked like it was trying to make a jump to hyperspace. And there's no hyperspace lane and there's no gate there. And so when it tries to do that, it just vanishes, and all of the like space that it had created around it, all of the fire collapses, and you hear one last like roar from its comms, and then it's gone forever. Or until the plot demands that it reappears mysteriously.
Nice.
If I can, to flavor my newfound trauma, if I can add in a little bit, when it does disappear, Faye like pops into like Faye was beat up and injured and out of it. Like that's when Faye clicks like to be alert when that happens, and she sort of looks around, surprised, and is notably distracted by its presence. Faye has the trauma haunted, in that she is without her thinking it, this technology invades her mind, not necessarily like actually invading her mind, but like it pops into her mind, and if I can borrow horribly, she feels a disturbance in the way when it disappears.
Cool. That's great. All right, so shall we do the group skulk? Faye is leading, I believe I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone go ahead and roll your skulk dice. Faye, you'll take stress for anybody that rolls less than a 4 as their result. And anybody that wants can push or spend a gambit. But since you're all involved...
This is risky standard, correct?
Risky standard, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Risky standard. Go. All right. Well, I'm stressing myself out. Okay,
Dang.
Lauren's doing it. And right. So I take 2 stress.
Yep.
Get a 5.
And you get a 5, which means that so on a risky action that hang on a second. On a 4 to 5, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, or you end up in a desperate position. I think we're going to have a complication. And I think that the complication is that, yeah, I know exactly what the complication is. All right, so I think that there's this moment where you hear the she-wolf, I'm sorry, I forgot the phrasing.
Yeah. Samaryar, the she-wolf of Celsus Nebula.
Yeah.
Yes. Steps through the doorway, and you hear Barhazuk being like, help, the prisoners have escaped. And you hear her like barking orders, like where to go, what to do. You're hearing them. They're going to be coming up behind you any second now. And then you hear her glare at Barhazuk, And he's like, what can I do to help, in a very innocent manner. And she goes like, I don't trust you, Urbot. And you're gonna hear a very, very powerful clang and a stagger somewhere in the room over there. But are you folks continuing with the like skulking away and everything? Just before I finish.
I think Barzuk is kind of part of the crew at this point, or at least we treat him as such. So we're expecting him, as the plan is, he sends them running off the wrong direction and then comes with us. So it sounds like the complication is he is captured, harmed, not coming with us.
It sounds like he's not going to be able to just casually join you.
Okay.
Right. I think we're watching this, like we're waiting for him.
Well, you're hearing it, yeah, but yeah.
We're like behind. We're like no. We're behind like air vents.
You've got like a grill, yeah.
Yeah, we're behind a grill. We're watching this. He's pointing.
All right, then I'll describe exactly what happens. The she-wolf goes, "I don't trust you, Robot," and then she goes to walk away, and he demurely starts like moving behind her, and she just whirls around and like wheels and kicks him, and he like staggers back, even though he's like huge. So it's obvious that she's got like some sort of like weird strength to her. And he takes a couple of steps back, and he takes 3 steps back into the jail room itself. And you see her like slammed door shut, and like the lock like overrides, and then she like pulls out a blaster and like shoots it once so that he can't get out, and then goes, "Find them. I will not tolerate rats on my ship." And then credits roll. We're gonna continue next time. See if you can rescue Barhunt, rig their engines to explode, and or get away and finally make your delivery to Amarath after all of this.
I don't know that these plants are still going to be alive.
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to catch the Urbot shipment. I don't know.
To be fair, the pirates actually know the nebula fairly well. This is where they hunt. So you didn't gain a lot of time getting through the nebula, and the nebula was a shortcut, plus you guys have dark hyperspace lane maps. It may come down to a roll. I might make a fortune roll for the plants to see if they survived.
Barhozuk has been taking very good care of them.
He did, and they're locked in the room with Burden, who's very angry. But they're not calcium, so he won't eat them because he's a calcivore. So, all right, cool. So I think that's it.
Hoof stuff.
Let's do XP.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Is there XP works differently with people with trauma, right?
You have more opportunities.
Get more.
Okay. I think one of you guys should start first.
Sure. Okay. I already marked my desperate actions. You do have to tough challenge with charm or audacity. I think it was pretty audacious to go ahead and grab that cube, knowing what it could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I believe I even asked you, are you being a little feckless? You're like, not that feckless, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it took a moment or two of like Sean understanding what was the sitch. But yeah.
Cool.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Charm and audacity. I feel like attempting to lie to like the ship's sentience and was also pretty audacious, at least in my book. Maybe even charming and audacious.
Yeah.
Making friends with Felix.
Yeah.
Oh, Felix.
And also solving the problem of Boz being out by being very sympathetic and connecting and maybe being a little charming with that old ID.
Yeah, that old faded ID.
So
I'm taking
good.
it. Taking 2.
All right.
Do it.
All right, you express your beliefs, tribes, heritage, or background. Well, I'm double dipping here a little bit here, but we got to find out more about Boz. That Boz saved. Not to make this a Han and Chewie scenario, but I basically wrote in that Boz is the one that saved Faye. We haven't seen Faye like defer to Boz, but I think now that has been established, there's a certain degree to which Faye is indebted to Boz.
Sure.
That is part of it. So I'm taking one for my background.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. My beliefs were really strong that we should not trust random Urbot that like took over Barzuk. Like
That
Lauren's
was screaming.
like, yeah, let's just do the thing that this rando Urbot says. And I was like, no, let's get leverage over it. Let's figure out a way to trick it. Let's like I was very opposed to it. Does that feel like it's beliefs to you guys?
Yeah, that also you chose to prioritize Boz over fighting stuff.
I was going to mention that because I remember putting that on the line, and I'm like, "Is this your beliefs you're talking about right now?" And you were like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah, Boz was more important to me than.
So I think for sure.
You struggle with issues from your vice or trauma during the session. I'm clearing my playbook, and then I'm going to fill it up some more. And I'm going to put in 2, and this is why. 1, yes, I struggle with my trauma because it took me out because I was out of the scene. And I struggle with my vice because I really did not want to let you all know about not only that I did have this very potent drug, but exactly where it was. And now I've lost my stash.
Yeah.
Like, that's my stash. This is going to come back to haunt me in the future. I'm gonna milk more XP out of this when I need to. But right now, that is not something Faye felt comfortable doing. But
pulling teeth, right?
Yeah. Nice. So I clear the decks this session, which makes me feel somewhat better for all the terrible things that happened. And I think I'm gonna take. Never tell me the odds. You generate gambits on desperate rolls. You may also generate gambits even if you spend a gambit.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Scoundrels are little gambit. They're the people that play with gambits the most and generate the most gambits for their teams.
Great. We need them.
Yep.
Please do.
Cool.
All right. Boz, you want to
go next?
I do it.
All right. Go for it, Boz.
All right. Let's see. So you addressed a tough challenge with force or threats. And like, I'm actually struggling a little bit because I'm like, I feel like Boz did a lot of like, oh, okay, well, I will address the box in like some rig rolls. I'm trying to think like just between that and like
the only thing that I can remember is it wasn't directly, but you addressed a challenge with force, which is you told them to go through and murder all the drones before you began to work. That is, it's not exactly right, but it's close enough, at least for me. I have to ask the rest of the table because this is not actually my job to say.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Lauren would have thought like, yeah, just go murder the defenseless robots. I think that totally counts.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a solid like we are carving our way out of here solution. And you didn't address the she-wolf with violence, but
really wanted to.
Sure wanted to.
Still do.
I don't know why, but in my head, my brain is already referring to her as badass battle grandma. So
good. Awesome.
Grandma.
Cool. What are your other triggers? What's your next trigger?
You expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
So you lost the argument about battling, but I feel like you pushing for it is definitely expressing a belief.
Sure.
At least in my book. Can you think of other examples? Anybody?
I think we saw. I think we saw your drive to be the peacekeeper amongst the three of us when Faye and Lauren were like, no, and you're like, okay, we're just gonna cleave right through that and address the situation at hand and not let Faye and Lauren have their little meet cute hate love crush weird thing.
Right, that's adorable, but like get to work.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Super good. I think there's something to be said too, like thinking about so again kind of double dipping, but like we're gonna murder all the droids in the hall. Bots, what's the right word? Help.
Drones.
There it is. All the drones, like they're not our bots. Those are just dentist nightmare tools. Right, like
Right.
tactically.
This sentience of Urbots versus drones, I think, came to the foreground in this session. That like here are murder bots, and here is people. Right, Barzuk was somebody we cared about to the point of we're gonna pull him out of this jail cell. We saved him from Ben. You know.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a clock to make Barzuk your like team ally?
Can we?
Can we?
We totally can.
You know what? I'm making it an 8 clock and I'm putting 2 ticks on it. I think you've just
Great.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good friend. That's
because
exciting.
you've had some adventures with this fellow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We dragged him along. Poor guy. Really did not sign up for this at all.
He has not met with really great fate since he's been.
Sure.
Bud.
Uh-huh.
All right, cool.
We didn't see it, but Boz is super curious, is concerned about what happened to the Sun Eaters, but not nearly as concerned about them as about Burden.
Yeah.
Like,
so I feel like a couple of them were in the jail cell with you and are probably escaping with you.
Okay.
The
Is Renata with us?
Rikara?
Rikara.
Yes, I think Rikara made it. She's got ice water in her veins.
nice.
But I think that there's going to be some altercations about exactly who you are and what you're doing, considering what happened to
Yeah,
Scorpio.
she's gonna be pissed at me.
It's gonna be awesome.
We'll
So
see how
good.
that turns out. Cool.
So, the last one is you struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during this session. So,
well, you gained a trauma, so that's 1 XP for sure.
Yeah.
Do you know which trauma you're taking?
I don't, because I don't understand how any of that works.
We'll talk about it right after this then.
Sounds great.
So take 1 XP for now.
Great.
And I may after we discuss which trauma it is, if you displayed it during the session, this might be a thing that you might get an extra XP for. But for now, just take 1.
Great. Awesome.
And that's it for you.
Ta-da.
What about your vice? Did
Obligation.
pleasure? Yeah, I don't know.
No, none of that really did. It was a pretty quiet Boz tour this round through.
Yeah.
Lauren, what kind of
All right.
shenanigans there?
Great. I addressed a tough challenge with deception or influence, which I definitely did, or I attempted to.
You tried that so many times.
Yes.
No question, I think, in anyone's mind.
Yeah.
Utterly.
Oh, man.
So good.
You just addressed it. Does success is immaterial?
Yep.
Yeah.
I expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I think.
You found out you by doing the news story, Dreg.
Yes.
That whole
Go.
thing,
And then
the she-wolf finding you out and all that jazz. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that my the way I ignored the way we were being attacked just to protect Faye, I feel like it was very.
I was
big
thinking
part of
there
that
might be
for
some
me.
feels there. Faye has shown herself to be vulnerable around Lauren a few times, but this is the first time him actually reciprocating that.
Yeah.
Of course, Faye didn't see it because she was too busy being shot and stabbed.
Yeah.
It's all right. We'll tell you we'll tell you later and you won't believe it. It'll be good. So also the part where you initially at least bought in on scary droid
where
friend.
I was like, he's an Urbot. Barzuk went in. Trust him. I'm for it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's pretty big. Yeah. And then the other one is I struggle with issues from my vice or traumas during the session, and I don't think that I did. I mean, I brought that luxury liqueur out, but it wasn't really a struggle.
Right.
Well, they took it from you and threatened to rip your ship apart. It did get you into trouble, but not more so than any other thing you would have done at that point.
I can't think of any right now, but I'm certain we'll see some whenever you have some downtime so your vice comes more into play here.
Lord, we will. That is true.
So that's it. So let's do the ship real quick.
Yeah.
I believe the Stardancer is executed as follows. Execute a successful transport or smuggling operation. I don't feel that you completed one this time.
We moved our ship around and us and probably some Sun-Eater corpses.
Delivery.
Well, wait, no, we rescued Ben from the imploding ship. No, we got
It wasn't a job though.
No, I mean
it's a transport operation though. A successful. I mean, it was. I mean, that's what
I'll tell you what
we do.
If you get Ben somewhere safely,
I was gonna say,
I'll give you 2 XP's worth next time. Is that cool?
Yeah, we haven't gotten anywhere yet.
That's fair. But I mean, I want to point out that rescuing the Sun-Eaters, rescuing Ben, getting them off. I agree we haven't done it yet, but that's all like what we do is move people around and stuff. Like that is our job. So, but yeah,
our job is supposed to pay money though, and none of those things are things that we were offered money to do.
Faye is going to charge each and every person for those things. That's why I wanted to hold the core is a hostage. That's why all of those things are Faye is going to try and turn into money for sure.
All right, Faye's the hustler.
I agree. We can do that once it isn't successful yet.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to ask you folks where Ben's core is next time. But
I've been wondering that.
Flashback to a moment before you went on the pirate boat where it got stashed somewhere.
Yeah.
As
well as the box, the big box.
Yeah. Well, that thing was aboard your ship before you disconnected the core. So,
the big box was?
Yes. Because we established that, right? Like that Faye was like pushing it down corridors and everything, and it was stashed away.
Okay.
So it may have been moved by the pirates, but again, we'll discover this with some rolls and stuff next time.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So cool. So no XP for successful transport or smuggling operations yet. Contend with challenges above your current station. I feel like at least 1 XP for the Drexler Raiders. I don't know if you folks can argue for another here.
What's the tier of the drones that murdered all the peeps?
The dental bots.
Yeah, the dental bots.
Oh yes. I was
ran and
station. They were definitely not tier 0 bots. They were definitely. I was describing them as tier 2 murder bots. So, all right, cool. Sweet. So that's definitely 2 XP there. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. Your 2 reputations are ambitious and loyal.
Wow, I think. Well, I don't know if loyal got hurt because we weren't like loyal to Felix, but man, I wouldn't trust us if we're like, welcome on board, and then we're like, oh, and also we're shooting you. Like that is probably a conversation that's still yet to be had. But I do think if Ben is in any way connected, I do think ambitious is right up the alley of, sure, we're going to steal the box and disconnect the core and get everyone out of here. And we managed to do it without imploding by hook or crook.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's a person, if Ben as an Urbot is a person that's seeing that. Well, and the Sun Killers did. The Star Killers did. Sun Eaters. Some word.
You called them like 15 different things. Star Killers is the most common. It's close. Sun Eater, Star Killer.
It's just slang. Basically. That's what Faye calls them.
So good.
So I think we were ambitious in front of several folks.
Yeah, I would say so too.
All right, cool. So 1 XP for ambitious. Does that sound fair?
That's good to me. That fills us up.
And then finally, express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew.
Yeah, I think we got that in spades. Yeah.
All the like coded signals and like, I'm lying to you, but you know what that lie means, and the arguments. And
in the part where the crew continues to be deeply loyal to itself, and we have this situation right here, right now, where Lauren is very like it's official, right? Like Lauren keeps putting his neck out, and like there had been like some growing, like, okay, yeah, you could probably stay, but like you have made that declaration.
Yes, that is
very true. Very clearly.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of like,
I don't think
everything's pretty cemented.
Any more question that Lauren is
part of the crew.
Yeah. Whereas before, like, you could still have left. Like that still felt possible.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's very legit. I'm gonna take one for our arguments and our codes, and one for Lauren's presence. If everyone thinks that.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that came up was the moment between the two of you trying to get Ben's core out, and that dynamic that existed there, the way that that we help each other,
Totally,
kind of by virtue of our shared history.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Shucks.
Cool.
Like
so I think that's that.
That pushes us over. Technically, we get stash and.
So everybody take 2 stash. Right.
It seems a little hard, depending on what advance we want to take. Well, we could take a move. We don't have to take an advance. I was thinking like an advance on the ship would be hard to justify, but a move might not be.
Yeah. I feel like we had talked about something specific last time.
You discussed upgrading your comms to 1.
Yeah.
There's also the very reasonable. The reason why we have comms is because we have really great sun eaters.
That's true.
Like,
yeah, maybe that's something
nice
that they brought on board, but we were not on our ship at all in this session.
Yeah.
One thing, there are 2 things here that might be useful, just real quick. One of them is, I know it's kind of a boring move, but in this case, it might actually be really useful. There's a move called Problem Solvers, which gives each of you one of the following, a free dot in one of the following: helm, rig, or scramble.
That sounds extraordinarily helpful.
Yeah. The other thing that you may want to consider is just mentioning there's a move called Field Repairs that allows you to like jury rig problems on your ship in space expediently. And if you spend Gambit, it's like it gives you 2 dice instead of 1 for rig rolls on your ship and stuff. So that might be a thing to look at, particularly if the pirates have either cannibalized parts or disabled certain parts, or if you want to like rig their engines to explode or whatnot. So I don't know if
you heard the word explode.
You like that one, do you? Yeah, I think going for comms next time and taking either problem solvers or field repairs makes total sense.
I know it doesn't make sense context-wise right this very moment, but also medbay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think medbay totally fits within the context of stuff we either steal from the pirates and or that we get from the Sun Eaters.
Mm-hmm. So there's the one thing I'll throw on there. Not that I'm like all about it, but as an additional
Yep.
I think for now, I'm a fan of problem solvers and would be happy to get that.
Sure, we got a bunch of ugly rolls right in front of us, having an extra die, and
sure. And is that we pick the same thing, or do we each pick individually?
You pick individually.
All right.
That's amazing.
All right. And cool. I'm gonna check that. I like that as well.
Great.
All right. So each of you feel free to add 1 in either helm or rig or scramble.
I'm adding it to rig.
Helm, rig, or scramble?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because it's the standard scoundrel package, right? Like you people are smugglers. It's not about being bitter muscle. It's about being able to run away or run towards something, fixing your ship up, or piloting your way out of danger or through danger or into danger.
We wouldn't ever do that. What are you talking about? So
we do it too much.
And we don't get paid enough.
Poor Lauren's gonna go gray, you guys.
It's gonna be dashing. Don't you worry.
I know it's gonna look really
ever.
good on him, but
yeah, it's a good look along with that facial burn.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the part.
I'm never gonna be on TV news again. God,
welcome.
Oh, Lauren,
that's when we knew we had you.
You could be a news correspondent. Yeah, I'm torn between helm and scramble. I'll think on it. I mean, scramble.
That's where I'm at.
Scramble is very practical right now, but so is helm. So
see, and I'm more likely to pick
3, right?
rig.
Yeah, that would put me at helm 3.
That'd be nice.
Which would, make Faye a legit badass.
Our real pilot.
Versus our just good enough pilot.
Yeah.
Judged. So good. Right. There we have it.
So we've settled our ability. That's it for XP. I believe that's it for the session. That wraps up episode 6 of Scum and Villainy Stardancer on actual play here.
Rough.
Yeah. Sometimes the rolls are
Thank
not
you for joining us for a very stressful time.
Yes.
Come back.
So when is our next game, Sean?
Our next game is next week, the 29th. Yeah.
Our next game is
Thank
next week, the 29th. And then after that, we should be returning to an every 2 schedule, I think, roughly, right?
I think
Mhm.
so.
I believe that is
next game after
correct.
that is the
Thank
13th.
goodness we only have to wait 1 week between now and when we next get to address the things before us, because 2 weeks would be too long. This is tense.
So many hearts to everyone joining us. Thank you
Yeah.
for keeping us entertained. Special thanks to our friend who was building up the mythos of
super
Samara
good.
Yar, the
Thanks,
she-wolf
Jet.
of the coastal nebula.
Yeah.
Fun.
And,
Love it.
thank you to our awesome chat members who were keeping track and making sure that we got ticks on desperate rolls.
Yep.
So see you all folks in a week. Hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see if these fine folks can extricate themselves from the complete pile of trash that they got themselves into.
Of course we can.
Yep.
I believe, fam. All right.
Yay.
Cool.
So good.
All right. Night all.